Hey, Vito, for those who don't know, please tell them who Jeff Beck was.
Okay, the question was, who was Jeff Beck? Well, simply, to me, the greatest rock guitarist who ever lived. And I share the same opinion as people like David Gilmour and just about every guitarist, Ritchie Blackmore, Steve Lukather, Eddie Van Halen. Everybody revered Beck for a very good reason. I'll read what Google says. We'll start from there. Jeff Beck was a groundbreaking English rock guitarist, widely considered one of the most innovative and influential players in music history. Revered as the guitarist's guitarist, he rose to fame in 1965 by replacing Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds before launching a legendary solo career spanning blues rock, jazz fusion, and electronica. I don't recall electronica, but key highlights. Starts off with the Yardbirds. Well, Yardbirds was an interesting band because in the mid-60s there was an explosion of blues-influenced bands coming out of England, including the Animals, the Rolling Stones, and the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds started out as a very straight-ahead blues band, English blues band, covering all the classic blues tunes that they had heard coming in from America. Howlin' Wolf, Sonny Boy Williamson, people like that. And their guitarist, Eric Clapton, was very much a blues purist. And when the Yardbirds committed the federal offense of having a hit song, Eric decided that was way too pop for him, and he left the band. And he was replaced by Jeff Beck. Now, Jeff Beck wasn't averse to hit songs. In fact, he was very much into their leanings into psychedelic music, influences of Indian music, things like that, all kinds of innovative things that were part of a blues band. About halfway through his stint in the band, the bass player decided to become a full-time producer. His name was Paul Samuel Smith. He went on to produce all the early albums of Cat Stevens, all the hits, T for Tillerman, These Are in the Firecat, Moon Shadow and all that. So that left an open spot for the bass player. And they had a tour coming up, so they grabbed the closest studio musician that they could find, which was a guitar player named Jimmy Page, who was a very busy session musician at the time. So he joined the band under the condition that the rhythm guitar player learn bass so that it could be two guitar players. And for a time, you had Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck in the same band playing lead guitar together. I mean, if that wasn't, guitar player heaven, I don't know what it is. But Beck kind of got tired of the whole scene, the touring and such, and I'm not sure if he was fired or left the band or a combination of there and above. But he left the band, leaving Jimmy Page as the sole guitarist, who further took it into a higher level until the band broke up and he formed Led Zeppelin. Now, just before Jimmy joined the band, he put together a recording session with Beck, Page, John Paul Jones. There was no Led Zeppelin at that point, so it was just another buddy session musician of Jimmy Page's. Keith Moon of The Who, and Nicky Hopkins, who went on to play piano for The Who, for the Rolling Stones, and virtually everybody late 60s, 70s. And they cut this one song called Beck's Bolero, which is the song that we're covering here with Janet Robin. And it was revolutionary in the fact that it was a bolero beat, which nobody had done. I mean, you won't hear a bolero beat again until the movie 10 with Bo Derek, where they actually used Ravel's Bolero, which is the famous one. But this was a tune penned by Page, just a real outlier there in the world of instrumental guitar music. But you can hear in the original the drive and the urgency that Beck plays with. Part of what made Beck unique was his tone. His tone was very meaty. I don't want to use the word masculine because that has a different connotation, but it was just very passionate and meaty, and that set the space for every guitar player to follow. If you listen to Steve Lukather, Eddie Van Halen, all those guitarists, pretty much every hard rock guitarist's tone started from Beck's tone. He kind of set the bar. The other thing about Beck is he was constantly evolving. In 1975, He did an all-instrumental album after doing a number of vocalist albums with different people, starting off with Rod Stewart as his original vocalist. And nothing really came to the success of his, buddy Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin. So in 1975, he released an album called Blow by Blow, which is all instrumental, influenced a lot by funk and fusion. There's 2 songs by Stevie Wonder, and it was produced by none other than George Martin, the Beatles producer. And when you listen to the orchestrations on some of the songs, you understand, oh yeah, I recognize that. That's that level of excellence. And Martin just got something out of Beck that no other producer had been able to do, and that album changed the face of guitar for virtually every player. I remember when it came out, it was everyone's Bible at that point. So after that, there were a few hit and misses. He never really had an album that had that impact that Blow by Blow did. But he began to evolve his style, where he's using the tremolo arm, the whammy bar, in a way that no one else was using it, and the volume knob, and making the guitar speak. So he went from being able to have this passionate expression on the guitar to being able to express it like some of the more emotive instruments that you find in different cultures, like the Japanese erhu, the Indian sarangi, the oboe, the duduk from Armenia. They just bleed emotion, and that's what he was able to do, whether he was doing a cover of Day in Your Life or an Indian-inspired song. It was quite outstanding, to the point where he was able to make it make sounds that you didn't know the guitar could make. A lot of you are familiar with Rick Beato. He breaks down a lot of songs and a lot of styles of different musicians all over the pop rock world. And he did one with Beck, and you could just see the look on his face every time Beck did something that he just didn't understand. And believe me, Rick is no dummy. He is a very experienced musician. And I had the same reaction. I go, how did he do that? That's just not possible. And that's the level that he got to by the end of his life, where just people's brains would explode when they go see him. I got to see him live, a bucket list experience. He's just the most amazing musician. Yeah, unfortunately, about 2-3 years ago, he died of bacterial meningitis. It was a tragedy for the whole music industry to lose such an amazing musician. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed Beck's Bolero, our little tribute to the late master.